What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 43 of Movie Talks, the only podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. Look how keen Lawson's looking. He's looking at you. He's looking at you multiple ways. You'll never know. For those people that are watching, you might get that reference. And
it's a good background. I think it sets a really good precedence for my expectations of the movie.
Yeah. But, you know, a bit of throwback to the old Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon? Who's that person?
You can sort of tell who it is. It's a pretty distinctive jawline.
I think there's a lot of things that are quite distinctive about the man, the myth, the legend. But you know, my hero, he's my hero. My Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about it though.
Yeah, we've got a big lineup for you. We've got the new Arnold miniseries documentary. It is out now, so get on that. Thank you, Netflix. It's the best thing you've ever done. Will keep my subscription just for that. Yep. And
even compared to Food Bar, because like
it's both. They're giving me everything I've ever dreamed of.
Okay.
It's just it's the only reason for
we'll get there, man. Don't
then
too much.
Spiderman Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel, where you went and saw it. Lawson finally caught up on the first film as well after such a resistance about not watching it. I don't know.
There was no resistance.
There was. You were like, yeah, and then you just didn't.
I just kept saying, yeah, I'll get there. Like it was never I didn't want to.
You got there.
Life takes a hold, and I watch other things instead. But I watch both back to back.
Nice. And then the brand new Little Mermaid remake. So I know you were extremely keen to see it. Hopefully it lives up to your expectations, as it was your favorite Disney film while you were growing up. You were living under the sea.
Little Mermaid. Yeah. It's not even one I watched as a kid, if I'm honest. I didn't watch it until I think in my 20s, the first time I watched Little Mermaid.
Wow.
Same with Beauty and the Beast. I just never got around. I didn't have them on VHS. None of my friends did either. They're not ones that I watched.
Okay.
So it's not an IP I care about.
Yeah, it's not one I watched heaps, but I did watch it. It was Lion King and Lady and the Tramp were my two main ones. I used to watch Lady and the Tramp like back to back.
Lion King, Aladdin, and Hercules. I had it on VHS. And they just got repeated and repeated and repeated.
All right.
So good.
There you go. At least you can talk this episode. Last episode, we do apologize for
it. It was
a bit. It wasn't great.
I actually stopped listening that episode. Like, this isn't good.
Yeah, we let you down on that one, so we'll try and bring it back.
Sorry, everybody.
But we're going to go into movie news. I'm not sure if Lawson wants to sing us in or not. It's been practicing.
Sure. It is movie news. It is movie news. It's time for the movie news. It's time for movie news.
Oh, he's even got the clap, trying to get the crowd involved.
Trying to get a bug.
I thought it added to the performance. But one of your favorite action long-running films, full franchises, I should say, is getting a fourth film, and the trailer has now dropped. And Sylvester Stallone, Dolph, and Jason Statham are all back in action in the Expendables 4.
Oh, God. I didn't realize there's a third, to be honest.
Oh, really? Yeah, wow. Ronda Rousey was in the third. Like at the peak of her fighting career. So it's been a little while between films.
She got beat once and ran. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I'm not against it. It's dumb, fun comedy. Can I drop a little piece of movie news that I heard or read about today?
Yeah, of course.
Just in the same sort of vein of movies that keep going. Or like, this is the epitome though. I read something today about Fast and the Furious. They're not, in quotes, not against time travel for Fast 11. It's amazing.
Time travel. What are they going to... At this point, what's his name? Vin Diesel or Dom, he virtually became a superhero. Like, he can't die, and he just gets powered by family. It's just ridiculous.
He's going to be bitten by a radioactive carburetor and become
a transformer.
Fucking car himself. Yeah, he's become the next Transformers. They're going to, like, mash the two movies together or some bullshit.
It's just a crossover.
I'd watch that.
Uh, speaking of, there's two other long-running action franchises that have got some teasers. So, Mission Impossible sequel uh,
Okay.
is called Monster. So you can look out for that one. That's. I'm surprised they're still going with it. Like
Yeah,
I thought we moved on from Mission Impossible, but I know.
I thought so before. Was the most recent one Protocol? Whatever it was.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought we moved on before that, to be honest. I'm very surprised they're still going, but Scientology needs its money, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all that. But Mission Impossible 2, I quite liked because it was done by what was his name? A real good director, and that's was the slow mo for like bullet time and stuff. I can't
Okay.
remember. John Woo. I think it was
Oh,
John Woo.
interesting. I do not recall. I've watched them. I think either the first two or first three. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, they all just mash into movies that are anything to me.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's hurting my brain to think of it. I went three when I was looking up the
John Woo. Yep.
John Woo.
Number
Yeah,
two is John Woo.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I really liked him. He was one of the inspirations for Mad Max Bullet Time, just for random references.
Yeah, he also made Face Off, and that
Yeah.
movie's a fucking joke.
I
So
like
he
Face
doesn't
Off
like.
though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Oh my god.
It was great.
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
Yeah, really good. Pinnacle of
It's John
their
Travolta,
acting
isn't it?
careers. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, hard.
And the other long running franchise is Captain America 4 gets its title changed to the Brave New World.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's
And
with the new Captain America, right?
yep. Yep.
Sure.
I quite like the new Captain America. And the Blue Beetle, do you remember that? It's
No.
gearing up for
Oh, that's right.
sequel.
You sent me a link about that, didn't you?
Yeah, that was DC's. It's got Miguel from Cobra Kai is playing Blue Beetle, so he's having
Sure.
a. They're gearing up for sequels and crossover movies, so they're already backing it in. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
right. I
Yeah,
guess they make enough to continue. Like if they make money, it's enough. It doesn't have to make a lot of money. As long as
yeah.
it's in the red, not in the red, then they're good to go.
Oh well, at least they're excited about it. Insidious: The Red Door is apparently meant to be scary and emotional because it's
Okay.
going to get ugly. Is apparently what the Patrick Wilson has said.
Okay. I haven't heard
So
much about this yet.
no, I don't know. It's already spawning spin-offs, so who knows?
Okay.
Empire magazine has put Ahsoka on the cover. So obviously they're gearing up for the new Ahsoka series, which is coming out very soon, I believe. I reckon it's either this month or next month. I remember
Ahsoka. What's Ahsoka?
the Ahsoka it was Anakin's Padawan.
Oh, Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Right.
the
No
Star
shit.
Wars.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was picturing Avatar for some reason.
Oh no. I
Yes,
mean, she does have the head tentacle thingos.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in a weird spot with Star Wars. I didn't finish Mando. I didn't watch the other new series that came out, the Andor.
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't like Andor.
tired of Star Wars at the moment. I'm sure I'll have a resurgence, but I don't know. Everything just feels Star Wars now just feels like Marvel movies and Marvel comedy and Marvel writing.
Yeah, well,
I know I'm a bit
season
going,
three of
sorry.
Mando was shocking. They had
Oh, really?
moments, but there was an
Okay.
episode with Lizzo and Jack Black in it, and it was so bizarre. Like
Okay.
it wasn't good. It was just bizarre,
Interesting.
but don't know. And take this one as you will, but Zack Snyder plans adults only cut of Rebel Moon movies. The adults only throws me off the trail. I don't actually know what the Rebel Moon movies are.
Yeah, what's Rebel Moon? I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, wait, don't sound ignorant. I
Action-packed
don't know what Rebel Moon
sci-fi and
is.
clash between scrappy guerrilla fighters and a tyrannical force is looking to stamp it all over the galaxy. Okay.
I have
I
no
think
idea what this is. Doesn't come
that,
out until December 2023.
no, but he's planning an adults only cut randomly.
Okay. Well, oh, look, I heard that his the Snyder edit of what was it?
Justice
The
League.
Justice League
Yeah, it actually makes it
was like,
okay. It
yeah,
makes an okay film. It takes an
yeah.
absolute garbage film and makes it okay. Like it was better to watch, and it actually gave Cyborg a actual reason for what he was doing rather than just an angry kid. Like
Okay.
it gave more like depth to it. So yeah.
Looking at the cast list of Rebel Moon, Anthony Hopkins, who I adore, and Jenna Malone, who I usually like in most things she's in, makes me a little bit more interested. But is it DC? Is it comic Rebel
Which
Moon?
I don't know. I haven't heard about it before.
Okay.
Could be.
Snyder originally pitched the idea to Lucasfilm as a new Star Wars movie. Okay, so it's not connected to either Star Wars or DC.
Yeah.
It's like a
Standalone
sci-fi.
adventure. That's
Sure,
fair.
it makes me more interested.
Yep.
It's not a fucking money grab, but we will review it, I suppose, down
We
December.
will. And the last bit of movie news is a third Hocus Pocus movie in development at Disney. I know there was a lot of
Okay,
hype for the second one, but I never actually
it
watched
was.
it.
Hey,
Yeah.
me either. I didn't watch Hocus Pocus growing up though either. I watched The Witches,
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
with the one like the boy that gets turned into a mouse and stuff. That's the one that I
Yeah.
was connected to. I
Rowan
never
Dahl.
watched Hocus Pocus. Yeah, Roald Dahl.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So again,
All right.
Hocus Pocus I didn't watch until I was in my 20s,
Nice.
and yeah, by then I didn't find it that interesting.
Fair. All right, let's move on to Arnold, the brand new miniseries documentary that is out now on Netflix. So get on board with it. So this is following the life of Arnold Schwarzenegger from the days of lifting weights to his succession in Hollywood and his serving time as governor of California. So this will go through the joys and the ups and downs of his whole life, really. It's broken up into 3 episodes. First episode is him pretty much conquering the athletic world of bodybuilding. And then you go into the second episode, which is his journey into acting and him becoming the massive superstar that he is. And then part 3 is pretty much taking you through his political campaign to become governor and to this point in his life.
Okay.
So I watched all 3 back to back, and I learned some stuff that I didn't previously know about Arnold. So
I was wondering.
yeah,
Yeah, as a huge Arnold fan, I was wondering how much new stuff you would be exposed to here.
yeah. So just contrast, I think. So backstory. My dad and I used to watch Conan the Barbarian. We used to watch like Predator, Arnold. Like we always used to watch action films. We used to watch his rival as well, Sylvester Stallone, in like Rambo and stuff. So we was always big fans of action films, and we always used to get around it. So I followed his bodybuilding career as well. He was one of the big inspirations why I always wanted to be massive, and that's why I still train to this day. And I follow bodybuilding, compete and stuff as well. So I had a fantastic time watching every episode. I did like his bodybuilding journey, so episode 1, because I already knew the story. I knew there was the other documentary, Pumping Iron, and if you've seen that, that is great to watch. You actually get to see a whole different side to what you normally do, but it takes you through his childhood, which I didn't actually know much about his childhood, of him growing up in Austria, and about his brothers and his dad. Like that's all new to me. I never actually knew about that his dad went to war. He came back, was suffering with PTSD, and I was obviously had moments where it became a bit tough for Arnold's family. So I didn't actually know that part.
Or his brother. I didn't like. I knew when he's mentioning he had a brother. I'm like, yeah, I think I knew that. We find out in partway through episode 1 that his brother died in a car accident.
Yep.
And yeah, I really like the line Arnold says when he says that Nietzsche was right when that doesn't what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Because the very thing that made Arnold what he was and what he became was also the very thing that destroyed his brother. It
Yeah.
was quite powerful. Very, yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting for sure.
I also didn't know that he used to meet up with a group at near the lake in his hometown and like train. That was all new to me. I never knew all that. I obviously knew that he went to California and started bodybuilding and stuff like that and competed. I
Hmm.
did I did look a little bit because I've read his bodybuilding encyclopedia, the book, like it's massive, and that's like the basics of all your weightlifting stuff and what you need to do. But it does give you some insights of like all his junior career. Like the
Yeah,
man has solid genetics. Like he's a big boy, but
yeah, for sure.
like it was the pretty much put bodybuilding on the map. I also didn't know how much he hated Frank Zane. So Frank Zane in the bodybuilding world is like the aesthetic god. So he's like the one that formed like Ziz and all those guys. So if you're into the
Hmm.
the culture side of bodybuilding, they're more about looking ripped and looking shredded, where Arnold was all about mass. And you get
Yeah,
to see that side. So like when he first went into Olympia and he goes up and he's like, how did I lose to that chicken with scrawny arms,
yeah,
18-inch scrawny arms? Because he's got 22-inch arms. Like it's he was a big, they used to call
the
him the
unit.
Austrian oak. So
Hmm.
I really enjoyed seeing a little bit more insights of actual Arnold and like him living pretty much at the gym and like just having a tiny bed and like a little shaker or like a blender, what it was.
Yeah, I love that. All I had was my blender for my protein shakes, a bed which was smaller than my one at home, and the weights room.
Yeah.
Like, what a man. Love
Yeah. And you can
it.
see how charismatic he is. Like
Yeah.
he just looks like a fun guy to be around, which definitely helps him in the other episodes. So this is mainly just giving you the insight and following him
Yeah.
through his journey to become the the world bodybuilder. So I had a great time with it. Did you watch all three, or did you watch majority?
I have about 15 minutes left of the second episode
Yeah,
and haven't started the third yet. The first was very captivating. I think I guess coming into this, I wasn't sure how it was going to be presented, with a separate narrator or if it would be done all sort of like candid camera style or how it would be done. But it's him narrating the whole way through. And I think he is such like you mentioned his charisma, but I think he's also such a warming person as well.
yeah,
Like he over time, pardon me, has become such a dad almost. Well, he's a dad, but his personality is very welcoming and very honest. And I really appreciated when I was watching this. I felt like I was sitting in his lounge room having a chat about his life. And I think that's exactly how this thing needed to be presented, especially to a man, in his mid 70s.
yeah,
Um, yeah, first episode was fantastic, and
yeah. I also
like I
didn't know.
definitely want to watch more.
I didn't know that he was in the army. Well, I knew Austria, you have to go in the army for a bit, and that
Yeah,
he was a tank driver. I never knew he could
yeah,
drive tanks.
I love that. He was like, "I want to be a tank driver." They all said I was too tall, but my dad knew some people, so I was a tank driver. And I was, what did he say? I was like, I was the most reckless tank driver they ever had, or something like
Yeah.
that. Like,
And like in the later episodes, you actually get to see him. He has a tank that he just drives around in like this random
oh,
paddock.
serious?
It's so funny.
Of course he does.
So like there's just all these little bits and pieces that you don't get to see. And like him
Hmm.
in the second episode where you get to see his journey into becoming the movie star. It's really fun to see because he stepped away from bodybuilding because he felt like he conquered it and wanted to do something else. So he moved across
Yeah.
to acting. And like I know he got his big breakout role with Conan, and that was like what sort of shot him up there. But like
Hmm.
seeing the journey and how that when the last action hero came out, and I know that was a flop of his, and how like devastated he was for it. Like I never knew how invested he was into, like he didn't want to talk to anyone. Everyone was like so concerned for him. And there's True Lies. So when you say that he's like a really caring guy, and in Hollywood, when they talk about people go over lawsuits and stuff for credit, where
Mm-hmm.
he actually rang his agent or he made contact with Jamie Lee Curtis and was like, I want your name under mine, like for to share credit for the film. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like what changed her life, she says. Like it changed her and boosted her career
Mm-hmm.
because of that. Like
Yeah.
he's really honest. He's in there. You can see
Definitely.
there's a whole journey where after his brother dies, his father dies, and then his mother comes across over to America and is always there with him as well. Like he's really sort of, I don't know, just a fun, caring kind of guy. Like he's just,
Definitely.
and everyone is talking that up. So it was
There's a
like,
moment in the first episode where he is gathering a bit of a community. Like the bodybuilding world was very separate because it's all very, to be a bodybuilder isn't necessarily a team sport. But he sort of was one of the first people to start bringing groups together and training together and going on stage together and, still very competitive with one another, but very community driven. And he said in the first episode, which I think really sets up the next, 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours to watch. He was better at building communities than he ever was at bodybuilding. And that's sort of who he is as a guy. Like, yes, he's a unit. Yes, he's a half decent actor, debatable. Um, but he's a person and he's very human, and that's why I've been enjoying this so much for sure.
did you get to the part where Sylvester Stallone was talking about the rivalry they had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never actually saw the contrast of the
No.
films. So like Arnold was the superhero, never got hurt, and was always like
Mm-hmm.
killing people and had to like up Sylvester Stallone. But it was Sylvester
Mm-hmm.
Stallone was like, all right, I need to like be the underdog, not be very good, and just have like grit and
Yep.
determination. Like I liked it, and it brings Sylvester Stallone a whole different sort of viewpoint for his
Mm-hmm.
films. Like seeing
Yeah.
it,
Seeing it, you're right, because like it's Rocky versus the Terminator. Like the Terminator never dies. He just keeps marching forward and kicks ass. I mean, it's not in the movie. Yes, he does, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
And then Rocky is the underdog story. Like it's yeah, I never actually thought about that at all. I didn't know they
yeah,
were like I knew they would be rivals, but I didn't realize that actually like would dislike each other. I
yeah,
guess either.
yeah. It's crazy,
Makes
hey.
sense.
I know. I think because Arnold also gets real competitive. Like even on the
Yeah.
bodybuilding stage, he was like he played mind games with people. Like he wanted to win,
Hmm.
even though he was like caring and compassionate. He still like
Yeah.
I'm going to be number one.
Yeah.
Where that like all those little insights are really cool for me. I lost a little bit of interest with episode 3 just because I
Yeah.
don't care about politics.
I thought the
Like
same. I haven't got there yet, but that's the episode I'm least looking forward to.
it's interesting to see his campaign and like the way he all of a sudden decided that he wanted to run. Like he married the niece of the Kennedys, so he was in the Kennedy
Hmm.
family. And then she was like, he was getting prompted to maybe run. He didn't know what he was going to do. And then he went on to the talk show and he was like, we'll just talk and then I'll announce what I'm going to do. So he didn't know until he started talking that he was going to run.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's just like, he started to run. And then, as they do, all the stories and tabloids come out and
Hmm.
there was some stories of him groping some women and stuff. And then you can see his like, guess arc of like how he went to apologize and was building, and then you see his journey as the governor of California and the green emission. I really like how they've pumped up, and that became the cornerstone for the rest of the places to increase the green emissions or whatever it was called.
Sure. Okay. All right. I look forward to that part then, I suppose.
Oh,
There is a
and
disconnect.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, where
sorry.
are there? Sorry, just because there is a disconnect. Because like I think we are saying the same thing. We watched the show, The Diplomat. I don't understand politics in anywhere but Australia. Like to Australia to a degree as well, but I know nothing about American politics, and I don't understand the system. And I think the system's dumb as shit anyway. So I am going to be little bit disconnected from that episode, but I still want to see how it all happened because I know fuck all about that world of Arnold.
Yeah, it's really cool. Again, he builds a community with like all the governors and all the people, and he actually goes into the insight of how the like role the different worlds. So he's got a family in his acting role, and he actually goes into depth about how that was like having a family, them coming to movie sets, and then being the governor and what impact that had on his family as well. So it was a really cool insight to see
Okay.
the ambitions and what those sort of roles would have on a family life. But did you see how he's always got a cigar, like the full
Right.
80s, and the
I
random
know.
part where he's like, I need to make more money. So he's just doing these random like Japanese ads or like Asian ads. It's just
Oh,
he's
I haven't
eating
seen that part yet.
he's eating noodles and he's advertising some random stuff,
No
but
shit. I
he's
have
always
seen some Arnie Asian ads before, so I'm
yeah.
excited for that part. Awesome.
It's so funny. But yeah, it's really interesting. They're about an hour a piece, and like you can just watch one because each of them is just one segment of his three like really big
Yeah.
achievements. And I would probably go as far to say that he's the only guy to have achieved like three massive things
Yeah.
in his in a lifetime, like being
Yeah.
at that time the greatest bodybuilder, like Mr. Olympia, then
hmm
a pretty much the most well-known action hero, and then the governor of a state.
California, yeah.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilding to acting isn't that much of a leap, and neither is acting to politics. Build on that as well. But to do all three, so like no one would have thought seeing him in his 20s growing up as that bodybuilder who could barely speak the language, no one would have anticipated that he would have been the governor of California.
Right.
Like, yeah, so wild.
That's crazy.
Cool story.
Yeah. What would you
Yeah.
give it?
I'm sitting on a four. I think it's very well presented. I think the like I said before, the fact that he's driving the plot and he's narrating it and telling us his experiences, and we don't have this ominous voiceover, I think is very compelling. Um, to me, I guess it's hard because I haven't watched it all yet, and I know episode three is going to be meh compared to the other two. But I've had a lot of fun with the first two. I only stopped watching the second one because I had to come on and record, So yeah, I'm very yeah, I'm satisfied with it. I think this is what I wanted it to be for sure. So yeah, like a four makes me happy.
Yep. Yeah. For me, just because American politics, I don't really care about. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, five, easy
Mm-hmm.
five.
Thought
It's
so.
yeah, easy. I love Arnold. I love
Yeah.
this. I love the story. He's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, you have done really well with Fubar and now Arnold. I don't know what you could if you can just bring me out like Fubar season 2 next week. That'd be fantastic.
Thank you. You watch all of Fubar then?
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I love
Yeah.
it.
Cool.
But, Netflix, because I know you're watching. Hit us up and bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on to swinging into another verse. It is the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is out now. This is the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales, which we're focusing on again, catapults across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. When the heroes clash on how to handle the new threat, Miles must refine what it means to be a hero.
Redefine, but sure.
Yeah, he's got to define
Sorry.
it.
He must redefine what it means to be a hero.
No, he's defining it. So I personally don't really like Miles Morales. I think he's just overpowered. Like as a Spider-Man, he's got too many powers. It annoys
You
me
like
that
Superman. Superman is the king of overpowered.
yeah, but I like the other Spider-Mans better. So my favorites are obviously Peter Parker and Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. I also really like Spider-Man 99. I didn't know much about him, but I like his portrayal in this. So
I don't know what any of this means.
they're the different spiders. You saw
Yeah,
them all
but
in there.
yeah, I get it. But like, I don't know what Spider-Man 99 is. Was he in
Sp-
this?
yeah, Spider-Man 99 was the head of the spider team. So he was
Oh, is
Miguel.
he 99? Right,
Yeah,
Miguel. Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
So he's the Spider-Man from the future. He was
Okay.
the yeah, and then Scarlet Spider is Ben Reilly, who is voiced by Andy Samberg and has the blue um kind of vest thing on. You know, the one that was like my bulging bicep was kind of a comic relief character in it.
Oh, I didn't. Not the rocker one.
No,
Not the English one because that
no,
was Daniel Kaluuya.
no. Andy Samberg did it. So the guy when they're in the Spider Verse was like, my what's it called? Like visions, like he was portrayed as a bit of an emo or like really emotional because of
Oh yeah, yeah,
events.
yeah. I think that
Yeah,
was Sandberg. That's cool.
yeah.
Okay.
And then he was like, look at my bicep. So he came into the Spider Verse from the clone. So he was a clone of Peter Parker, and they also clone Gwen Stacy as well in the comic lore. And then the Jackal makes all these clones. He was the standout, and then he actually gets experimented on, and then becomes a villain called uh, Chasm later on in the
Cool.
comics. Yeah, but that's not
Really,
what we're
really
here.
glad you explained that to me. Yeah.
You're welcome. He's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Sick.
Yeah. So he's actually Peter Parker, but a clone.
Okay, let's
Ben
move on.
Riley. So this is picking up where Gwen is back in her timeline. We're following
Yep.
Miles, and he's pretty much just being his normal Spider-Man self. People are cheering for Spider-Man. We meet
hmm
the Spot where I was confused if I liked Spot as a villain. Like he just seemed like a bumbling fool to begin with.
Yeah, I think that was intentional though, because he's more of a plot device in this movie, and I feel like he's going to be more of the main villain in the next movie.
Yeah,
We'll say now, and this is not a spoiler, but this is the first part of a two-part movie.
it's definitely a building. It's kind of what Avengers did with what was it, Endgame, and I can't
Infinity
remember what
War.
it was. Yeah, Infinity War. Yeah, that's the
hmm
one. It's
Yeah, I guess to a degree, because and that's I will get to this point later when we start talking about spoiler territory, but it is sort of difficult right now to give a hard opinion on this film because it definitely feels like I've only watched half a movie, but I'll get to that down the road. The Spot, Jason Schwartzman did a great job. I think he was a really fun character. I like Spot.
yeah. I suppose. Yeah. I don't know. There was probably too many comical moments. I was like, all right. It was like
Mm,
bread falling out of him. He was like,
that was
yeah, I don't
intentional
know.
because they're even like this guy's barely a bad guy of the week. Like they're
Yeah,
meant to make him sort of unthreatening and goofy to start with.
yeah, yeah. But that's he sort of kicks it off. So he's going into a little bit of spoiler territory now. He's able to jump around to different dimensions because he has the abilities to create spots where he can transverse time and space.
hmm
And then we're reintroduced into Gwen. We got the family dynamic with Miles. So Miles is obviously struggling with his family because he's disappearing a lot. They don't know that he's
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
And his father is becoming chief. And then there's lots of nice little tie-ins, but the pacing was weird at the start. I really liked the opening.
Agree.
So the
Yes.
first like 20 minutes was really engaging, really fun.
Yes.
And then the next half an hour was really slow. Like they
Yeah,
just
I think sorry, while we're on that, I think I'm very glad that we got time with Gwen Stacy because in the first movie she just felt like a side character, but she really felt like another main character in this one, like almost like a second main character. And without that 20 minutes with just Gwen in her universe and letting her, there's this moment between her and her dad where she has to reveal that she is Spider Woman to her dad in order, dad's about to shoot her more or less when, free Spider Man, Spider Woman. Um, I'm really glad we got that. And I think it was a really good start. But because we already had all that building in the first movie with Miles Morales, when we get back to Miles's universe, we get a little bit of cool moment where we get to experience him in the past year being Spider-Man. But you're right, there was a lot of family dynamic stuff, and it was a little slower, especially because we had such a stylish and cinematic opening.
Oh, visually stunning, this film. The
Yes,
tones and the color that it's able to get across, like just a shot
ridiculous.
motion, amazing.
Somehow better than the first. I thought the first was an absolute masterpiece. Don't get me wrong, but I visually this was somehow better. The mixing of art styles, like in the first fight, Gwen Stacy's fighting, is it Vulture or something like
Vulture,
that?
yep, but like a Da Vinci paper
Yeah, the
vulture.
paper version is fucking awesome. We get more art styles later when we get into the Spider Verse stuff, but this movie somehow increased in the visual presentation. How they made this in like 4 years is beyond me. It's insane.
Yeah, it's visually stunning. Then we've got when it all kicks off and we actually get to be introduced to all the different spiders, it gets really interesting. So I don't know, I find Spider-Man 99, who is Miguel, who's the guy with like the futuristic suit, who's the one that
Mm-hmm.
takes Gwen away to his home world where he's developed a crime multiverse police system with all the Spider-Mans. I like the action hero vibe. I feel like you would probably it wouldn't be your favorite one. I feel like the punk rocker would be your favorite one.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. Where I don't know.
Yeah, I really like Hobie, was it? Hobie Brown, Daniel Kaluuya, the
Yeah.
English. He was cool.
I don't know.
Um,
I found him boring.
Miguel, whatever.
Yeah. I like action heroes. Where
Hmm.
so we're introduced to a different mix. We've got I can't remember her name, but the lady that was pregnant, we've got where she becomes a was it
Jessica Drew,
yeah,
I think.
she becomes a bit of a mentor to Gwen. Like we've got a whole
Hmm.
different dynamic coming in, and it's them going and fixing all the timelines because when people are in different timelines, they glitch, which we actually get revealed later on why that happens. And there's a big twist and turn about why they don't want Miles on the team as well.
Yeah.
So,
Um, one
uh,
thing, I guess, before we move into spoilers, one thing that is really fun about this is just how much they lean into the whole Spider Verse and that with animation, anything's possible. And I'm so glad that we're getting into fun animation again because like I like live action movies, don't get me wrong, but I think movies like this can do so much more, have so much more fun with it because it's animated and there's no rules to animation. Um, there's a
you
moment where, go on.
you'd never be able to do this live action.
Exactly, exactly. But nowhere near as good. It costs too much fucking money. Um, there's a moment where they're bouncing between universes or whatever. I forget the exact reason. And there's like a Lego world, and I found that so like just like it's warming seeing like a Lego Spider-Man, and he's like on the phone calling up the rest of the Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. Like it's cool. There's no fucking rules. Let's have fun with it. This is so
Yeah,
fun.
it was a long movie, and there's only that
Yeah,
half an hour downtime that was not overly fun. Like it was still good, but
sure.
it wasn't as fun. So
Hmm.
once everything does kick off and they start going into the different timelines or universes, was it worlds? What do we call it? Worlds? Different spider worlds,
Spider
universes.
Verses, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll call it spider verses.
What they did.
That's where it kicks off. There was a moment where it felt a little bit racist when we get the Indian Spider Man.
Oh, no, I don't think so at all. I think that
No,
was fucking awesome. I don't
The,
think it was racist. I think like they if it was a bunch of white men doing voices, then yeah, of course it is. But like there were Indian actors
okay.
doing their regular voices. They weren't like putting on some stupid accent. No, I thought that was fucking awesome. I love that section.
Right. The jokes about all the traffic and the traffic and the
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's fucking India. Like it's not racist. It's
Right.
legit. And like yeah, I thought I love all of it because it's like an alternate world of like what if India was Britain, more or less, and like what if they took over New York? Like
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
really
Okay.
cool. Again, no rules. It's about having fun.
Yeah. I Once it kicks off and you actually get to see all the different other Spider-Man, like I never
Mhm.
knew there was actually a T-Rex Spider-Man, like Spider
Yeah,
Rex. I never knew that was a thing. And now apparently
me either.
there's a full comic series of like Spider
Oh,
Rex.
really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
each of the other dinosaurs are there's a Venom Rex as well.
hmm I guess
But
moving into spoiler territory a little bit. I'm not going to reach the end yet, but there is this entire section where it's Miles more or less running away from all the Spider Men in the Spider Verse, and yeah, this is the part where we see all these different fun, different art styles, different like you said, like the T Rex Spider Man. It's just fun as shit. That
yeah.
was probably my favorite moment of the whole movie.
Uh
Just all the little like, oh look at that, oh look at that.
yeah. Especially when you see your favorite version of Spider-Man as well. Like I
One.
now want to see like spin-off movies for the characters that I want to see. I want to see like a Scarlet
Mm.
Spider movie. I want to see Spider-Man 99. Like there's so many
How about a movie
Spider-Man.
where it's like a 2 hour long movie where we get little 15-minute stories of different Spider-Men in their little Spider-Verse. Like they don't need to be connected. Just do like a bunch of little stories put into one movie, and we have all these little fun moments with different spider people or
Yeah.
spider creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But
Let's move into the end if we can. Spoiler territory, three, two, one.
yep.
Uh are you satisfied with how it ends? So we just quickly introduce what happens.
Yep.
So right at the end, the big question becomes what is Spider-Man's purpose? Like, what gives him his drive? And in order for Spider-Man to be Spider-Man, someone needs to die more or less in his life. And it usually is like the captain, the police captain, who's going to be his dad.
The canon event or
The
um,
canon
um
event.
Uncle Ben
Yep.
or
Uncle
whoever it is.
Ben. So then you have this event, right? So then that's why all the Spider-Man and Spider people are chasing him because he wants to get back to his world and save his dad. But they're all saying if you stop your dad from being killed, then your world is going to collapse on itself because Spider-Man needs that. That's how the universes are destroyed. That's why the spider that bit him came from a universe where the spider was meant to bite Peter Parker. That universe doesn't have a Spider-Man, therefore that universe is doomed.
Yeah.
More or
World
less.
42.
Cool. So right at the end, he gets to what he thinks is his universe, actually Universe 42, World 42. There is no Spider-Man. He's trying to confess to his mum, I'm Spider-Man. Mom's like, who the fuck's that? So then in that universe, his dad's already dead, and Uncle Aaron and Miles Morales are bad guys. And he gets captured. The Spot's about to go fuck up his real dad.
Yeah, he's
We
the
also,
Prowler.
yep, which we find from the first film. Um, and we also find out that, well, at this point as well, Miguel is also chasing him down. Um, it ends on a cliffhanger. It ends right at the beginning of Act 3, which I wasn't expecting. I'm not totally against it yet, but it's so dependent for me on where the next one goes. It can't be a Hobbit 3 where it just starts with a climax and then everything from the climax on is fucking nothing. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's more like Infinity War and Endgame, where
Mm-hmm.
the click of the fingers and everyone is gone. Like we're seeing our main characters in a bit of trouble. So yeah, if it does go the Hobbit way, then we're in trouble. But if it goes Endgame way, hopefully it's good. Like I felt satisfied with the ending because I was
Yep.
like, it's a building film, and
Yep.
I did really enjoy it. Like if it went for much longer, I probably would have started getting real restless and going, all right, this kind of needs to wrap up now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I, I don't know, getting the reveal that Miles is Miles. Like I don't know if I wanted less reveal or more reveal. I don't really know.
With what?
Where
Sorry.
where if it like he was just I don't know hit on the head where Aaron like knocks him unconscious, and
Hmm.
that's where they ended it rather than revealing Miles is
Oh,
a
I see.
Jaguar in there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it needed that weight though because the first movie had the Uncle Aaron reveal, and that carried so much weight. Like I didn't expect it. And that carried so much weight within the film that you almost need to have a similar reveal in this movie. Like it's almost an expectation at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know what I wanted for the ending.
Mm,
Like it was I liked it, but I also I don't know, not sure. It leaves a confusion.
yeah, yeah, that's how I feel as well. Like I want to give this a really good rating, but it's a very tentative rating because it's like it really depends on what happens next,
But once
which
all
is
the
next
film,
year.
yeah, March 24th.
Fucking crazy.
But like
Getting two movies done this time. Oof.
if you could watch it like all three back to back, I feel like it would be really good.
Definitely.
Just
Yeah.
how movies work. You can't release them both at the same time and be like, oh, we made a profit.
Yeah, and the alternative would have been like a 3 hour long movie with elements cut. And there's no like you said, there's probably like half an hour, 20 minutes in this that I was like, it's slow, but I still don't think any of it was unnecessary. I wouldn't remove anything from this. Um, I'm glad they didn't try to smash both movies into one film either, because I think that this as itself is still pretty cohesive and
Yeah.
like I said before, really fucking fun.
Yep. I had a great time with it.
Yeah. You see Donald Glover,
Yeah, he
his little
makes an
tank.
appearance. Yeah, he's cool.
Love that shit.
But
And the little meme with everyone pointing at each other. Like,
yeah, and the
yeah.
Insomniac Spider-Man, they even threw that one in there. The one from
What's
the
that one?
game. The Insomniac Spider-Man, the one from the actual Spider-Man game, like the PS4 game.
Oh, is it? Right.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
different
speaking of
one.
which, there's a scene where he's in his dorm room with his housemate or roommate, and his roommate's playing Spider-Man on PS5.
Yep.
Like, that's cool. I
Yeah,
love that.
it was very fun.
And I love that J.K. Simmons is still doing the voice of J. Jonah Jameson. You hear
Yeah.
him in the background one point. He's like, "Give me that picture of Spider-Man in the Lego universe," and like, oh fuck yeah, I love hearing you. It's so nostalgic.
What
Yeah.
would what would you give it then?
I watched them both back to back, so I'm gonna give both a bit of a review, or a bit of a number, I suppose. The first for me is a goddamn five. I was blown away from start to finish. It's probably one of my favorite animated films ever. Straight away.
Yeah.
Um, it made me want so many more animated action films like this. Like fucking hell, but it's already inspiring a lot as I've seen with the Wish thing with Puss in Boots.
Yep.
This is nearly as good. The pacing is what, like you said before, is sort of like about it. I think the writing's bad. It's just hard to pace a part 1 2 hour long movie. I think it's a 4.5, but it's a very tentative 4.5 because it needs to go in the right direction, and it's hard to give you know one half of a film a solid review when it's really half a movie.
Yep, that's fair. For me, it's a 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it was just that really good opening and into the family dynamic, which is a bit slower, which
Yeah.
ruined it my enjoyment a little bit. Not enough to be like you don't deserve that rating, but it really depends and like you said, how it goes from there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
4 to 4.5. Definitely
So
worth
would you
seeing it.
have preferred the movie without that slow moment? Or do you think it's still important for the plot?
Oh, I don't know. I think probably didn't need as much. You probably could have condensed that a little bit,
Okay.
I reckon. Like
Yep.
there was a the whole party scene was really drawn out.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like is it we have one party scene and then they go off and then they're back to the party again.
Yeah,
Like it felt like they could have done or yeah, maybe some elements, yeah, not
yeah.
wrong.
But let's move on to the Little
I have
Mermaid.
lots to say.
I don't have a lot to say about this one, so this is the
My list
Little
is massive.
Mermaid in real life, well, real life remake
Live
of the Little
action,
Mermaid,
yeah.
yeah, live action. So a young mermaid makes a deal with a sea witch to trade her beautiful voice for human legs so she can discover the world above water and impress a prince.
I'm already yawning.
I'm gonna give my short one and I'm just gonna let you go. It's this unfortunately was not good at all. The pacing was really weird. I did like her voice. I think her singing, I think she's really good at singing.
Yeah.
But
That's
the
the only good.
that was pretty much it. I didn't like how they changed Sebastian and Flounder. I believe that was the
Oh,
name.
they look
But
like fucking shit. Why were
yeah,
they puppets?
I don't know. They look terrible. It's just the pacing seemed weird. I didn't feel like she was ever in danger. Ursula sucked. The guy,
Yeah, such disappointment. Just a cool villain. It's just so fucking boring in this.
the prince, whatever, Eric, he sucked. I actually
Yep.
also I had to look it up, but I thought King Triton looked like Nicolas Cage for the majority of the film. I'm like, that's not Nicolas Cage, is it?
I
It's not.
wish it fucking was. It would have been way better.
But yeah, overall, it sucked. It's just highly disappointing. Like I, pretty sure Under the Sea didn't actually come until way later in the film, the song.
And I think it was the right timing, but it was so boring. Under the Sea won a fucking Oscar in '89. And
Yeah,
then this had no heart. Like, because the animals are realistic CGI, there's no, like, fun playing instruments and dancing around and stuff. Like, it was so fucking soulless. Soulless is the best way to describe this fucking movie.
yeah,
Uh,
highly disappointing.
yeah, look, that's one of my notes though. Under the Sea was very unexciting. That song won an Oscar. Um, you mentioned Ursula. Like, she is such a fun, evil character. Like, and she's allowed to be evil and say bad things. They remove some of her lines. Like, there's a part where in the original, um, I forget the lines. It's something like how to make them listen if I can't talk, and she's like, use your women attributes or something like that in the original. It's something about use your body, right? But like, she doesn't even say that anymore because they're trying to be PC, I guess. But like, she's meant to be fucking evil. Let her say evil things that are not appropriate. The original Ursula as well is based on drag. Why the fuck in 2023 as well, when we're trying to be PC and we're trying to be culturally appropriate and include everyone, why didn't we have a man in drag playing Ursula? Like, it would have been much more sense and would have been more fun.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage in drag. Get an actual drag queen. Get an actual fucking drag queen who can sing and perform, or at least lip sync and perform, if that's a lot of them do. And like, anyway, she was let down. She could be such a fun character, and I think that was the only part that I was like, okay, I can't wait for Ursula's song though. Like, that's gonna be fun. She's a fun character, and it was so shit. And like, I'm not a big fan of Melissa McCarthy at the best of times, but she was such a nothing Ursula. Like, I don't give a fuck. Uh, this movie was blue as fuck for most of the movie. Might as well have been fucking Avatar 2. Like, majority of the movie was just because underwater, if you try and be realistic, isn't colorful.
No.
So make this a realistic underwater film, and it's just blue. It's just blue with blue animals because animals try to blend in the water. Flounder was fucking terrifying. I couldn't every scene he was in, I'm like, ugh, like it's so gross. And Sebastian had no personality. You got this actor he's trying really hard to put personality into a crab. He's just a crab. Whereas the original
Yeah.
Sebastian had a full-on face and was like kind of suave and like fun. This was stupid as fuck.
Davy Diggs is his name.
David Diggs.
Davy
He was
Diggs.
he did an okay job, but the animation was such a letdown on him. It looked really low budget at times. Like some underwater scenes, the hair movement and stuff, because all the hair CGI as well. It looked really fucking low budget for a Disney film. Like no one's got more money than Disney.
It was bizarre. This guy directed Chicago and Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yeah, he
So
doesn't have a bad history, but I don't know. It's I've heard people say this isn't as bad as some of the other live action films. Like I still think that Lion King live action is more of a travesty than this, but this just was like boring. I couldn't even get mad at this, except one fucking moment, which was disgusting. There was this song at the end that Aquafina sings, who's the seagull, Scuttle. The Scuttlebug rap was obnoxious. It felt like those moments where you got, people in a room writing, what are kids like? Oh, kids like rap. And this fucking seagull comes in and raps about them going to get married. It was bad. Really
she
fucking bad.
she's everywhere at the moment. She's getting pushed hard for I think Disney are pushing it. Like I think she's getting a show or something. Like who is Aquafenwa? I don't know how to say it.
I think it's Aquafina.
Aquafina. Yeah.
I said it when we watched Renfield. You can't spell awkward without Aquafina. Well, you can,
Oh.
but the first few letters of her name, the first few letters of awkward, like I coincidence? I think not.
No. The whole film was in Aqua and it was awkward, and it had
I
Aquafina.
like it. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. It was
Uh,
bad.
this is so shit. And because it's live action and you're trying to put this world in realism, it makes their relationship seem so fucking ludicrous. The fact that she was a mermaid and then she comes on land and has legs and she cannot talk and he is still head over heels in love with her and they have no connection besides that they looked at each other once. When it's animated, you like every Disney princess film, you're like, well, that's dumb, but whatever, it's animated. When it's live action, it really points out how ridiculous it all is. I don't know how anyone can fucking like this. I hated it. I hated it so much.
What'd you give it?
Like half a star, like
Yeah.
0.5 out of 5. Like you said, I think the only redeeming part, she can fucking sing. Like that's you can't argue with that. Her one song, the whatever it is, when she's like, I want to be on the land, the first song, right? Was like, okay, that's interesting. And then every other fucking song of that was boring as shit and meant nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just lucky. I wrote this in my notes. I'm just glad this wasn't an IP I cared about because this is like Lion King. I got actually mad about because they ruined a really good IP. Whereas this is just like it's a boring IP and a very boring movie. So whatever, 0.5. Hated it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't care for this. Pretty much halfway through, I stopped caring, and I think I started doing other things. I started
Yeah,
playing on my
I
phone
played
and
Zelda.
stuff. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's like, yeah, half a star to a one. I'm gonna go one to one because
Generous.
she can sing. She can sing. It was long too. It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like it
Very
was
long.
very, very long time.
Added songs. It's like 3 new songs or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
and they were the worst ones.
I just just be true to the original source. That's what people want to see. Like you're reintroducing a, I guess you can call it a timeless classic to a new audience, but like you don't have to change it. Like it's still people still get
Make a new
around it.
animation.
Yeah.
Make a fucking really nice, gorgeous underwater animation with like just the best looking fucking fish and shit you can make. If even 2D if you want to do it like old school. There's no
Yeah.
reason for this to be live action. It's the same with every live action. There is a conspiracy, and I do sort of believe it that the only reason they're making all these live actions is because they need to update copyright law. And if they let it expire, we're gonna get Winnie the Pooh fucking horror movies and shit like like we'd seen Winnie the Pooh, I mean.
Well, Peter Pan and Bambi are getting one too. So
Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
That's fair.
Aladdin,
Yep.
Dumbo, Jungle Book, Lion King. They got to update their copyright, but make a good animation. Anyway, I've had my rant. Thanks for listening. What's next week?
Next week, we've got the brand new horror film, which is telling the timeless classic of The Boogeyman. We've got Bloodhounds, which is a Korean boxing action TV show. Looks kind of cool. It's out on Netflix. Well, it will be out on Netflix. And then we've got Black Mirror, which is season 6. So you're a big Black Mirror fan. I think I've seen an episode here and there. So this will be a different takes of the Black Mirror spectrum.
Yeah, I wouldn't know many series I've rewatched as many times as Black Mirror.
Okay.
I'm very keen. I have mixed opinions on the last 2 seasons, so I feel like I have a lot to say. Regardless, I'm very excited for the new stuff though.
Nice. But yeah, that's all we got. We do ask that you share it with whoever you can. Just put it on socials, tell word of mouth, whatever. Friends. Tell your friends, tell them all.
Tell all your friends.
Yeah. And if you like it, if you're watching it, hit that little big thumbs up. It definitely helps the algorithm. Turn the bells on so you get notified, especially when we go live on Monday nights at 7:45. And then we're live on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday. Same time, 7:45. And we'll see you guys next time.
Heck yeah. Love